Welcome back, science fans. Today we're traveling to the South China Sea and playing out the most intense war game we can envision. An all-out confrontation between America's most advanced aircraft carrier, the USS Gerald R, and the Chinese military. In the end, the carrier will lose. Yes, you heard it right. The Ford will be knocked down and you'll see why. This isn't about marveling about the carrier's technology because one-on-one, this ship can defeat any adversary. However, we're exploring a scenario where the Ford enters the heavily fortified backyard of a rising superpower. First, let's set the stage. The South China Sea is a region overflowing with networks of military bases. This is a place where the aircraft carrier will encounter sophisticated weapons that have been actually designed to challenge the mightiest of naval ships. For decades, China has had simmering territorial disputes between many of the countries in this area. The USS Gerald R is the newest and most technologically advanced aircraft carrier in the world. All this technology comes with a cost, a cool $13 billion each. The ship is a marvel of engineering. It's nuclear-powered, meaning it can operate for decades without refueling. It holds 75 state-of-the-art fighter jets. There are also specialized planes that jam and disrupt enemy communications, as well as early warning radar planes. It's a supercarrier, no matter how you define it. This ship allows the US Navy the capability to strike far beyond the horizon. It's not just a ship, it symbolizes American naval dominance. On the other side, we have China's Navy. In recent years, they've rapidly grown their naval capabilities. They now have arsenals of anti-ship missiles, submarines, and growing fleets of warships. In our war game, China isn't just flexing its military muscles. Remember, this is their backyard, and they can fight from artificial islands that they've created in the open sea. Now let's begin. The Ford steams into the waters, leading its formidable carrier strike group. The group usually includes 2 guided missile cruisers, which have powerful anti-air capabilities. Escorting them are usually 5 destroyers with advanced radar systems and missiles for defensive or offensive operations. Lurking beneath the waves are fast-attack submarines ready to counter underwater threats. Together, this powerful armada forms a protective shield around the supercarrier. The first move comes from the skies. The stealthy F-35 Lightnings soar into the air, ready to assert air dominance. At the same time, the destroyers and cruisers fan out, their radars sweeping the horizon, their missile batteries at the ready. China responds quickly. Their fighter jets meet the F-35s thousands of feet over the waves. Both navies engage in a game of cat and mouse, each side looking for an edge to defeat the other. The first indication of a threat to the carrier appears as blips on the radar screen. These blips are incoming DF-21s. In other words, these are carrier killer missiles. They're known for their long range, which can reach more than 1,000 miles. Designed to evade missile defense systems by adjusting their flight mid-air, they're extremely hard to hit. Immediately, the destroyer's network of radars and missiles comes to life. It's called the Aegis Combat System, and it's very effective. Computers begin to track the incoming missiles. The system then locks onto the targets using a SPY-1 radar, which is one of the most powerful naval radars ever invented. The incoming missiles travel outside the atmosphere. As they approach, SM-3 interceptor rockets are fired. Their warheads are designed to slam into an incoming missile. The enemy missiles are destroyed. However, the initial victory against the DF-21s is short-lived. China escalates the confrontation with a salvo of YJ-18 supersonic cruise missiles. Unlike the high-altitude trajectory of the DF-21, the YJ-18 is designed for a high-speed, low-altitude approach, making it a different kind of threat. These missiles skim close to the ocean's surface, aiming to outmaneuver traditional defense systems. Responding to this new challenge, the cruisers quickly adapt their defense and begin to track the low-flying missiles. This time, the system deploys interceptors like the SM-6 interceptor. These missiles are optimized to engage targets within the Earth's atmosphere. At the same time, the close-in weapon systems come to life. This is the last line of defense. The system includes the Phalanx, a radar-guided gun that fires 20mm rounds at an extremely high rate, creating a wall of metal to intercept incoming threats. The weapon targets any incoming missiles with a rapid firing of rounds before they can reach the carrier or its escorts. At the same time, subs hunt each other beneath the waves. Los Angeles-class submarines engage in an undersea battle, detecting and countering enemy submarines attempting to launch torpedoes. Despite the valiant efforts of the entire strike group, the attacks keep coming and the scales begin to tip. China has thousands of missiles and other advanced systems that form a formidable arsenal. And the fact that this is in their backyard, they can keep fighting relentlessly. Their weapons are deployed without stop in an all-out battle where China doesn't care about escalation. Hundreds of fighters are now sent against the U.S. aircraft carrier, and many of them are equipped with anti-ship weapons. These planes begin to launch strikes from all over the vicinity. The destroyers and cruisers work tirelessly, intercepting as many threats as possible. However, the attacks saturate their defenses to the breaking point. Suddenly, a missile breaches the defenses and hits a destroyer. It's a significant blow, not just physically, but also psychologically, as America's invulnerability is shattered. On board the Ford, the situation turns critical. The carrier is now in the fight of its life, and the turning point comes swiftly. One missile strikes the Ford directly and is a blow that sends shockwaves across the deck. The impact is near the hangar bay, causing a massive explosion that cripples the flight operations and ignites a series of fires. The damage is severe and critical systems are knocked offline. Communications are disrupted and the ship momentarily loses power. The crew springs into action, battling fires, preventing flooding, and restoring critical systems. In response, other ships counterattack, but it's not enough. They're losing the battle. Below the surface, the Americans are doing better. Their submarines, brimming with superior technology, assert dominance. They hunt for their adversaries while avoiding minefields and use advanced weapons to defeat them. The battle reaches a critical point in a few hours. Modern naval fights with their high intensity lead to quick, decisive outcomes. The Ford and its strike group face wave after wave of assaults. But these engagements are swift. Intense combat is mixed with regrouping as both sides assess damage, reposition, and plan their next moves. The smoke eventually clears and reveals that the Ford, though battered, remains afloat. But the flight deck is severely damaged and unable to launch aircraft. Restoring the carrier's full capabilities is impossible until it's back at its dry dock. Realistically, the likelihood of a modern U.S. aircraft carrier sinking in a conventional battle is very low, but it's not impossible. The hulls of these carriers are exceptionally strong and constructed to withstand multiple impacts. But if they're continuously attacked with advanced weapons like anti-ship missiles and hypersonics, that's a different story. If they're hit at a vulnerable area such as ammunition storage or the nuclear reactor, it would sink the ship. The possibility of a $13 billion vessel being sunk by cheap missiles raises questions about the long-term viability of aircraft carriers, especially in the face of rapidly advancing missile technologies, including hypersonics. Thank you for joining me in exploring this thought-provoking scenario. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and consider subscribing for more content like this. Until the next time.